Hello and welcome to the Next Canon podcast. My name is Danny Ray, and on this podcast we are going to be talking about how we want to cultivate the next theater canon and how we want to shift our society into the next generation, make things new, get rid of the old, take in the new. Today's guest is Maya Burton. Woo-hoo! We love her. She is an actor, teaching artist, producer, just all around amazing person. Tell us about yourself, Maya.
I am, all what you just said. I'm an actor, I'm a producer, I'm a teaching artist, I'm a writer. I just feel like that's typical, though, of artists. We all wear 100 different hats at the same time because, as a creative person, you're just everywhere you go, something is stimulating you. So I think that's typical. But I just moved from Seattle to South Florida, and I'm currently working at a youth theater program. It's called Renegade Theater Company and Conservatory.
That's I heard of Renegade recently. Maybe it was on Instagram. Yeah.
Probably.
I followed on Instagram recently.
Yeah, we just opened in June, right in the neighborhood that all of my high school friends and I grew up in, and we're trying to do it. We're bringing theater to the youth, to kids that look like us, that live in the same area as us. So yeah, I'm stoked about that.
Tell them all about it. Yes, I'll put a link in the description or something to their Instagram.
Yes.
I'll get that all in there. I love that. Oh my gosh, I'm obsessed. So how have you been dealing with all of the coronavirus nonsense?
Yeah, man, it's wild. It's kind of like, I feel like we all went through the same thing where we just watched all of our gigs go one after the other, just disappearing. And
I was in Tech Week.
Yeah, we were in Tech Week for Raisins 2020, and we had to just stop. But
you know me, I was definitely going to come to that. I've literally I had all my plans scheduled out. I was going to see you guys. I was going to see Sarah Porkalob's birthday show. When she was going to do all of them, I was like, oh my gosh. You mentioned Raisins. Tell the people about Raisins.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Raisins in a Glass of Milk is a play series that was created by me and Lexi Chipman. And it's based on interviews done with artists of color, multi-hyphenated artists. We've interviewed sculptors, we've interviewed designers, we've interviewed actors, producers, directors, all of that. We sit down, we chat with them for an hour or so, take that interview, and then turn it into a lovely one-act bite-sized play. And you get to hear about people's experiences working in this super messed up white supremacy world. You hear about people navigating all of that, and not only overcoming it, but just full out rocking that, man. People of color, I don't want to say I'm not worried about us, but I ain't worried about us. You know what I mean?
You guys
does that make sense?
It does make sense.
Okay.
And I'm so here for it. I'm the most here for it I've ever been in my whole life. The thought that you guys did that over 4 years ago at this point, as your senior thesis, is it was topical then, it's topical now, and we've only got a bigger ball rolling at this point, and more people on the wagon of yeah, dude, yes. What you're doing with Renegade, what you're doing with Raisins, I admire you so much, and you're one of my biggest inspirations.
Oh my gosh, stop that.
You always have been.
I admire you too, man. I'm so proud to see that you're doing this, that you're actually reaching out and talking to folks and making things happen, because people always dream big, but when you really start moving your knees and beat the street like you are, that's when the change happens. That's when the world opens up.
I'm so excited to talk about this with so many different people, because everyone has had so many different, the few people I've interviewed so far have had such different opinions, and anyone can talk about this. Anyone. I'm not someone who knows all of the shows ever, because I wasn't shown them as a child. I had a really bad theater experience in high school. It didn't teach me much about things like the canon and all the shows. We did White Christmas, we did Beauty and the Beast, classic, some classics, but I didn't learn enough about it until college. And so using that as a segue, what do you see or consider as like canon or theater canon right now? And what does it mean to you for something to be canon?
Yeah, so I think canon is the plays that we constantly see on a loop, you know, R&J, Oklahoma,
Death of a Salesman.
Hairspray, Death of a Salesman, honey, if I have to see it one more time. But yeah, so the shows that audiences expect to see, and shows that producing companies know people will turn out to see.
And know their paying customers will turn out
right. Which is usually old white folks. And it's like, I mean, yeah, old white folks deserve theater too. Everybody does. But the population of the world goes far beyond that. So yeah, I think canon is that, what I just said.
The stuff we see all the time, the stuff we're like a little tired of at this point. So on the topic of like Death of a Salesman, don't want to see it anymore. What's one of your biggest shows that's got to go? Something you don't want to see anymore? Like it's a fine show or it sucks and is really, really bad. We just don't need to see it anymore for whatever reason.
Well, the first thing that comes to my mind is Thoroughly Modern Millie. Do you know that musical?
I do know that musical.
Yeah, okay, great. It's just something that American high schools really love to do, and it's probably because the main role is it's like a strong female role.
Yeah.
And usually in American high schools, the people that are really turning it out and serving are the young girls. So I get it. But Thoroughly Modern Millie is just, it's a dumpster fire. Like any musical that is like, the dialogue is like, what year are we in? It just like jumps back and forth. Some of the music is fun, but like, okay. And then it's all really
great chord progressions happening, but like at what cost?
Right. Why do I need to why is there literally a musical about white slavery?
To make that even more questionable, the first time I saw it at a high school, the lead, whose name is eluding me, was played by a Black woman, and the only Black woman in their theater, their cast. Yeah, that face. She did wonderfully, obviously, not shocked. But like, what an awkward thing to do.
Okay, but Millie saves everyone. So that story they're telling is Millie, Thoroughly Modern Millie. Millie saves everybody, right? At the end of the story. So like their story that they created was that this Black woman comes in from a small town and saves all of her white friends from white No.
Questionable on all fronts, absolutely.
It's just like, and even you said it, you saw it at a high school, right?
Yeah.
Why do these high schools always do this show? It's just damaging in every way. And the characters that are like the hotel owners that are like conducting this white slavery ring are supposed to be Asian people. And
right. Oh, it's all
more times than not.
Oh my gosh.
Right. More times than not, it's a young white person putting on the guise of an Asian person, basically yellow face. And we're just like, great, love it. 15-year-olds around the world are gonna gag. We did it. We solved it. Like, what are we teaching our young people, that this is okay?
Oh, yeah, they learn it that way, and they're like, this is fine. One time, there was a small private school in my city who uses our stage for their children's shows of the year. And so we, as the theater kids, became like stage management type of people and like some crew help and all of that stuff, and just wranglers. And the show, and this is not the worst one that they've done, I think. The show was Mulan Junior. And so like all the junior productions that like, I'm always just like, you're selling these to like predominantly white schools, right? I'm so confused. This is a Catholic school in our like very like white area. So it was just like, I sat there like, okay, we really made this choice today, didn't we?
Yeah.
At 15, I was like, I can't do anything about it, but I understand that it's like, this is uncomfortable.
And if you were a 15-year-old in the production, you're not going to be like, hey, adult director person, I think that this is wrong. There's an imbalance of power. It's a failure on the adult's behalf. Like,
they were like little kids, like elementary school. And their teachers were like, the guy who's the emperor in Mulan. Their like pastor was the emperor of this Catholic school. It was very odd and uncomfortable, but they had a good time, like it's.
Yeah, I get it, because these stories are beloved. Like Mulan is beloved. Thoroughly Marmalade, garbage. Just put in the trash. Mulan is beloved. Lion King is beloved. Everybody wants to play. But I think that if you don't have the right folks to do the show, you just don't get to do it. You don't get to do it. And that's okay, because there are 101 million different plays that an entirely white cast can do.
Point blank.
There are so many. So leave Lion King for us, please. Leave Mulan for the people that can really, really tell that story. And even if you're doing it with the kids and there's a mixed cast, I mean, okay, education, I get it. But let the leader be somebody who really can invest in that story. Let the director or the teacher in the room really know what they're talking about.
To be able to use it as a teaching experience or whatever they choose to use it as. Like, there just seems to be like, there needs to be thought put into shows like Thoroughly Modern Millie and like things like that.
Yes. Beyond just, oh my gosh, Jenny Ann is going to kill it as Millie. We have to do this show because she's got that high belt. Like, Jenny Ann can belt in The Music Man too. Like.
True. Oh my gosh. And
so,
yeah, there's on that end, like you said, there's shows that could come in instead. Music Man like is also like a do we need it type of question to me.
Sus.
Sus. So I'm not a big musical theater person, but I enjoy as a consumer, as someone who doesn't practice singing enough to be in it. But are there shows that you want to introduce into the canon that everyone should know, everyone needs to see them because they're beautiful and wonderful? Do you have any ideas?
Yeah, well, my favorite musical of all time, well, I shouldn't say that. My favorite musical right now is Once on This Island, and it has been forever. Do you know that musical, Once on This Island?
I've heard of it, so I don't know too much. So let us know what it's about.
It's beautiful. It's about this young girl who is adopted into this wonderful family. They live on the island of Haiti, and she falls in love, and she has to make some huge choices, and she has to grow up really quickly. And she is guided by, the spirit of love, the spirit of the earth, the spirit of water. All these gods are on her side the whole time, and it's gorgeous. It's just storytelling in the best, most beautiful, simple way. The music is lovely, and the cast is always 100% blackity black, and I love that. I'm rooting for anybody black. So
yes.
The original show came out in the 90s, I think, and they just had a revival. I prefer the original just because LaShawne's was in it, and I love LaShawne's. She's like one of my idols. I love Once on This Island, and I just don't see theater companies do it as much. I feel like a lot of the times theaters will segregate their season, that's typical.
Like one black show, one like that type of thing you're talking about?
Yeah, in the name of equity and inclusion, they'll put one black show in and say that they did it. But what they're doing is counterproductive because they're segregated. You have all your white people in these shows, and then you have all your black people. You do Hairspray. You do
and no one gets to be friends. What are you talking about?
Exactly.
Like,
yeah.
But also like supporting both types, like where there's lots of different types of people in the cast, and also like casts that are completely black, because hell yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Why can't a theater company have a season that like only has people of color? There are many theater companies that have seasons that are only white folks.
Waiting for the response from theater companies on that one.
Hello.
Tell us more.
Right. So yeah, I love Once on This Island. It's beautiful and it's honest. And again, powerhouse lead lady,
And you talked about something that's really important, like that was your idol. that was your idol. You had
LaShawne's.
She was there and you could look up to her, and it was something that made you happy and inspired you in some way.
Mm-hmm.
You want to talk a little on that, or like how it affected you when you first?
Yeah, I mean, here at Renegade, we're a theater company for young people, especially preteens and teenagers, and we fully believe that it's hard to be what you can't see. You know, like growing up for us, when we were in high school, we really wanted to do theater. We wanted to be a part of it, but we had to struggle. Like we had to get on the bus for an hour and a half to get to the nearest children's theater. And then when we get there, it was only white kids and white instructors and white directors. But we had those things like Once on This Island. We had those moments. We had actors like Raven Simone who gave us the hope that we could do it. We just have to fight hard enough to get what we want. So our goal here with Renegade is to show kids that, of course, you got to work your ass off, obviously, but we're here to support you in any way possible because that's what we needed back in the day when we were their age. So definitely actors like LaShawne's showed me dark-skinned girls that were out there doing it. Like I don't know if you know her story, but she just basically just gave it a shot. She's just like, I'm a dancer. I can sing, I think. Wow, I really can sing. I'm going to do it. And I'm going to do it 205% because why not? Because I owe it to myself. So yeah, does that answer your question?
Yeah, no, I love that.
Kind of rambly.
It's so important. It talks about representation in such a different way because people always say like, we need representation. And it's like, obviously, like, are you dumb? Yeah. Like, but on the deeper level, as a child, like seeing that, like having that effect on you. And now look where you are. You're just like killing the game, like helping other people and like creating beautiful work that is impactful and changes things for people. Like, I remember seeing Raisins the first time and being like there was a big roller coaster of emotions. I know this is a podcast and I just did a physical response, but watch the video. But like it was a roller coaster of like, for someone who didn't grow up in like the same situations, obviously. Mm-hmm. Like there's no dancing around that. You guys educated me in that moment and you took that time. And the whole audience, really, like a lot of our school is white where we went together. And it was impactful to everyone who watched it. I didn't see anyone who was like, meh, like, you know? And so just like you had for you a beautiful story to like feel encouraged by, like, look what it encouraged you to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's lovely to hear, you know. Lexi and I always talk about when approaching the next rendition of Raisins. We're like, we ask, who is this for? You know, like, why do we do it? And every time at the end of it, we come back to it's for everyone, you know, like, which is kind of like, you know, taking the easy way out. It's like, hey, everybody come down. Yeah. But I really think it is. I mean, for people of color, it's a cathartic experience. You're like, for the first time for a lot of people, it's like, wow, this person is speaking the thoughts that I've had for so long that I've just kept to myself, or that I've whispered in the green room, or that I've, you know, only, you know, that I don't really speak out loud. And it's like such a blessing that we're able to tell these stories and that people trust us enough with their stories to shape them in the way that we do. I mean, we don't change any of the words at all. Everything is verbatim as possible. The only thing we do is cut things out for clarity and for story, but
style it how you want to for that rendition. Like there have been so many different styles also.
Exactly. Like, yeah, so it's really nice to hear that it's impact you as a white person, because we've heard from a lot of white people and they're not too happy.
Really?
Yeah, so white folks, every single rendition we have, at least 2 white people say, I loved it, that was so great, but have you ever thought about putting white people in it?
Lexi said that last time when we were having this conversation and I was shocked. I was like, you missed the whole dang point.
That's exactly it, Danielle. I'm like, it's disheartening. You're like, I've spent technically a whole year on this piece, pouring in all this loving, painful hours of like attention and detail and thought. And all that you took away from it was,
it needs white people.
It needs white people. You have a lot of work to do on yourself, my friend.
Let's put a giant question mark next to your life, my dude.
It's disappointing. And, you know, I have to learn that you can't control people's reactions. You just got to put the work out and hope that it impacts the right person.
Exactly.
But yeah, so thanks for saying all those nice things. Oh my gosh.
Maybe it's my relationship with you guys, and you guys were just great mentors for me in my first year at Cornish. Like, I don't know what it was. I just have obviously always adored you as like minds and creatives and like just people and human beings. And so like to get this beautiful piece of work, like some senior thesis projects don't go as well as planned. And just like, I remember being a freshman sitting in 102, just like watching the first piece with some of my friends in it. And then like walking away dumbfounded and also like in awe and adoration, which is why I've always like tried to come when I could to your pieces. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just know that you are impacting the people who want to listen.
Thank you.
You know?
That's
like,
so kind. And it's encouraging, yeah.
People are wild. People want to see Thoroughly Modern Millie, and I don't know why. Like, I would love to see Anu put me on to, well, I've also seen a couple of like Facebook posts about it, but Anu had recommended I watch Passover on Amazon Prime, directed by Spike Lee. And I was sitting here at my desk just like this, like hands on table, like, because obviously it's Gatto, but it's not Gatto, and it is Gatto. Like, it's and it's like more put quotes around this, like accessible for anyone in this time period. I think as a white person, like I felt like, oh, I understand this a lot more than regular Gatto.
Yeah, because
I get where they're coming from.
It has like this like pretentious sheen on it. You know, you've got to be like a hoity-toity theater person to go and to be like, yes, I enjoy that. I love every second of it. It's like, okay, do you?
Working on that play in senior year was hard. Like,
it's difficult
to understand, and then like watching how it was changed but kept so true to the form, but the function was totally different, in my opinion. And I just was in awe, you know. And like, so I want to see shows that are like that, like, are new, or like,
why would we do Thoroughly Modern Millie when there's like whole like Dominique Morceau's out there? Like, why would we
exactly.
do like literally the Slave play came out, it's won like it's like nominated for like a million Tonys. You guys, this is the moment. It's happening.
It's a moment of change.
Believe it's happening.
It's a moment of change, and it's weirdly punctuated words by this weird pause in our community. Like, there's nothing going on right now except for training and online shows and talking. So much talking. Like, this this is happening. And because of the coronavirus, like you said, you lost gigs, I lost gigs, like it was everyone losing gigs. All your jobs were gone in a matter of hours. Like when they decided to shut down the city, everyone was like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
I have so much faith, and I want to hear what you have to say about this, that this is a time to be building on your own personal and like on your creative and what you actually want to be doing. I don't think there's going to be a huge lag when things do come back. How do you feel?
Oh, not at all. People are hungry, and people are always hungry, you know? And I like what you said, that this is like a time for training and reflection and conversation. And I just think that as much as it sucks, and as much as this disease sucks, and as much as it's ripped our country apart, you know, like for a lot of artists I know, it's afforded them this time to think about their art in a new way. One of my friends, when I had just graduated college, asked me once if the world were to be like, which end, and we were like living in a post-apocalyptic society, would you still be making theater? Would you be like, you know, would you be the person who is doing R&J in the ruins? And I have to.
Right. It feels like there's nothing else to do in my, like.
I must, because it's who I am.
Yeah.
It's essential to my whole being. I can't, and part of it is because like, I don't have any other skills. Like, like I can't be anybody's doctor. I can't be anybody's like soldier. I'm not the one. But storytelling is essential to the human nature, you know, like
absolutely.
We need it. So in this time of chaos and all that, we're just as essential as we have always been. And the work that we're doing in this little intermediate pause is important. It's vital. It's necessary.
It may feel like forever, but there will be another side to it. Like, there's no way for it not to be. Like, there's no way, like, everyone's like, or everyone did at least say, theater's gonna die, it's gonna be gone forever, like, Broadway will never come back. I'm like...
They've been trying to kill us for years, though. Like,
literally.
For so long.
Literally. There's a story, I don't remember what country it was or what sort of ruin they were in, but I remember a story from one of my HS classes in school about people putting on shows in a theater while gunfire was happening outside. And was the theater empty? Absolutely not. People walked through the gunfire, raced through it to get to the theater and watch the show.
Yeah.
It's like you need that sort of embrace in the hardest times, it feels like.
Yeah. Do you think that you would be doing theater on the ruins?
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. Like, and I've been working on like wanting to coach auditions and stuff like that. So like I'm really good at like the directing of like little pieces and big pieces and all those things. So I've been working on like coaching business right now instead of like focusing on, because I have not looked too far into like people doing Zoom theater shows and stuff like that. I've watched a couple and they're fun and wonderful. Just stresses me out to think about it like that. But I think I'd be doing the theater in the ruins too. Like there's so many things you could do. Like there's so many opportunities to use what has happened in the society as a like stage, like truly like push the rubble together, build cool things. Like there's like, imagine all these rocks like stacked 10 feet high and like, you know, like crazy like image things that have an impact, you know?
Yeah. One of my mentors always says like, as much as the people need bread, they also need roses. And I think that will be forever. I wear that thought as like a badge of honor every day. Yeah. As much as people need bread, they need roses too.
They really do. Oh. And that's like also we do. We really do. That's beautiful. I love that. Whoever told that to you, that's a gift for sure.
Her name is Leah Adcock-Starr. She's an artist in Seattle, Washington, and she's amazing.
Go follow her on everything you could find her on. I'll try to link
Shakespeare.
Road Shakespeare. There we go. Beautiful. So in light of this, do you have a current show that you are at all interested in like promoting? Anything you know about of what's going on?
I have an artist that I kind of want to promote.
Okay, shout it out.
Her name is Maggie Lee. Do you know Maggie Lee?
Maybe not.
She's a playwright in Seattle, and she's a badass. Like all of her plays are futuristic and like fantasy, and she wrote Sheathed. It premiered at Matcha last year, the year before.
Must have missed it.
It's fine. She's incredible because she imagines a world for people of color beyond our struggle and beyond the past and beyond how white people affect us and have affected us and will continue to affect us. She imagines worlds that are magic for people that look like me and people that are that are not white. So yeah, Maggie Lee is so cool.
Maggie Lee, amazing.
Yeah.
That is also actually cuts into a question I usually do at the end, but is that someone you would want to see on a podcast like this to hear what they have to say?
Yeah, she's fabulous. She has a lot of interesting insights, and she's a playwright. She's great. She will know a lot about which plays gotta go. She'll have a lot of opinions about that. For sure.
That's wonderful. Do you have any self promos you want to throw out? Not that we did any sort of self promo, but
we did. But yeah, Raisins 2021 is happening in June.
Love it.
Live, maybe. Filmed, maybe. Probably. Whatever Miss Rona tells us is what we got to do, is what we'll do. But
there's so much in flux, but we got to keep moving. But
it's definitely happening. June 2021, Raisins in a Glass of Milk.
Look it up. This is breaking news from when Lexi was here, because she was like, shh, can't talk about it. So
now we can.
We can.
We're in co-production with the Williams Project. It's a company in Seattle. Excited about it. It's gonna be good. And this cast is gonna be entirely Black folks, which is the first time we've ever done.
What a fun time. My roommate used to say that all the time. What a fun and sexy time. And I was just like, oh, that's great. We love it.
Listen, my roommate used to say "delumpsk" instead of "delicious." So he'd take a bite of his meal and be like, ooh, "delumpsk." And we'd be like, and then eventually we all started saying it. So I get it.
So we basically hit most of the things I have to say. Is there anything else you'd like to share with the people, or any messages besides go out and vote, which is something I say every time?
Go out and vote. I did it yesterday. It was lovely. I also got my library card at the same time, like.
Birds, one stone.
Exactly. No, I think that's it. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to talk it all out. It feels good.
Yeah, it's a really fun conversation to have in such a weird way. So I'm really grateful that you wanted to come hang out with me, and just thank you so much for your thoughts, your insights, and your current emotional labor and all of that. I really appreciate you, and I love you. So
I love you too, girl.
Okay, everyone, thank you for listening to the Next Canon podcast. We'll see you back in a week or so, and we'll have even more amazing artists to hang out with and chat with. Goodbye.
Bye.
Wait. Before you go, please remember to leave a comment down in the description with your show that's got to go, and your show that we ought to know. Spread some love in that comment section about all the amazing shows that you love and want everyone to know all about. And don't forget to give this video a little like. It just helps us out. So thank you guys again so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I had a blast. I hope you did too. So let me know, share this video with your friends, comment down below. Let me know who you want to see on this podcast. Bye.